Just say a word, he'll pick something up.
Well, I mean, I know that Mr. Angliss thinks that athleticism is creative, but I disagree.
Say a statement that you strongly believe in and help.
Think about this. If it wasn't creative
I'm going to bed.
and wasn't important to
Is that on?
schools,
You can go through.
and colleges wouldn't provide full ride scholarships. If it
Probably
wasn't,
sleep in these because I don't want to take them out.
if it didn't have a value to it,
That's not mine.
Okay.
because it holds an inherent value.
Don't you dare.
Because this is how the colleges make a lot of money. College games, football games, basketball games, hockey games, all of those.
Well, the arts are just as important because arts are
Well, I'm
encouraged
not
at
saying
school.
they're not important.
They're not as valued as sports, which frankly I believe that they should be because
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that.
because arts, I mean, I feel like arts are just as creative as athleticism,
Oh, sure.
but they are, I don't feel that people support them as much because, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, what's the first class to get cut at a high school? Well, it's going to be an art class. It's not going to be anything sports related. Even though arts has more to offer, I mean, people who are surrounded by a creative environment. I don't remember what the exact statistic is, but there is a statistic that says that people who play music increase their score on standardized tests compared to those who are not.
Because it
associated with
teaches you a
musical
discipline.
environment. Right, exactly.
Discipline of any sort.
Yeah, but the other thing that that needs to be said for the arts is if you take away art, music, drama, dance, all of that.
Yeah.
If you take all of that away, pretty soon people don't have anything to write about.
There's no entertainment as well.
Well, then there's
No, I
nothing
don't
to
think
write
there
about.
is.
So then if you have nothing to write about, how are you going to teach creative writing?
That's very true.
Teach
That's very true.
Dude,
socializing. Teach any of that. If you don't have the creative aspects or the artistic aspects in a school, then the
I have my
academic
phone back?
aspects are going to suffer because the joy gets taken out of school.
I agree.
Children have to enjoy going to school, and adults need to enjoy going to school.
That would
And
be
you can't
interesting.
do that if all you offer are the core subjects.
Dad,
No,
don't.
I agree.
You might want to change your clothes.
But
Although it'd
physical education is in there with that
actually in my
too.
rights in which to do
If
that.
the sports and stuff aren't available, then your body doesn't have a chance to grow along with and get toned along with your brain. And it all has to happen in order for your body to function properly. You have to work the muscles and everything. Yeah, but he even worked him all the way up until his adulthood.
Then you got the little box.
Well, that wasn't really anything he could do.
Yeah.
He was perfectly normal until the disease just up and sprung out of nowhere.
In his
And
in his
took
early
over his
20s.
nerves, or I don't remember exactly what the disease is, but
I have
isn't it neurodegenerative?
I don't know exactly what
remember
he I don't know exactly what he has. I thought it was a form of MS, but it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh.
There's not enough room in his brain for normal body functions.
Well, all of the oxygen's going to his brain, so then his muscles atrophy because they're trying to keep his brain alive.
Well, he surpassed the amount of time he was supposed to live before he passed away anyways.
When he was diagnosed,
When did he pass away?
He's still alive.
he's still alive.
He's
Well,
still
at least you
alive.
stated it.
I know,
like
that's
she
why I was-
passed away.
No,
I was
he's
going to
still
ask
alive.
if he just passed away
No,
recently
no, he's
because
still
I didn't
alive.
think he had. When he was diagnosed, he was told he only had a few years to live.
Yeah.
2 to 3 years, and that's been what,
So was my
25
grandfather
years
when he was
ago?
told
I
he
don't
had-
remember when he was diagnosed.
He had the stomach cancer. They gave him, what, 3 months or something?
yeah, 3 months, and he lived for
Yeah.
another 6 years.
There's a film
So-
about him called The Theory of Everything.
It just came out.
Eddie Redmayne is playing him. He was in Les Mis and My
Well, they
Week with
can't possibly
Marilyn.
discuss all theory of everything in the movie. It's only 2
Well,
hours
it's
long.
based on the book that Stephen Hawking's first ex-wife wrote about her time with him, and that's what the movie's
Well, it's
about.
because-
and when he got the disorder.
It's because
or
of
the
him
disease.
being a physicist, and physicists study the beginning of the universe.
Mhm.
So
No, I
I heard that it was really
challenge
good.
anybody to sit around and say, there's no,
You just make sure it shows everybody.
there's no space. What would there be?
if there was no space,
There was no space, there was no nothing. What would there be?
nothing.
Well, that's easy enough to say.
Outer space is so
It's just
perplexing
to
to me.
think
Just
in your
this
head.
world. It's
And let
exhausting.
it just roll around
Huh?
Alice, got in.
because if supposedly was,
Oh, she did? She got accepted? Is she going?
yeah, if everything was created from something and there was nothing to start with, then what was there?
Yeah.
There had to have been something.
This
there
universe
was
is so
nothing.
perplexing. Doesn't it depress you to realize that we live literally in a globe? We live inside of a globe. We are trapped inside a globe. And if we try to escape, there's nothing but stars and space and galaxies.
What you
And it
need to realize-
expands and it contracts and it's terrifying. It just doesn't make any
We are
sense to me. It
such a
freaks me out.
fragile,
I can't.
fragile being anyway. What other being, what other anything else
We
can
have
only
no
survive,
defensive.
they can only survive in an environment that's within 30 to 40 degrees of itself,
Yeah, such a
short
small.
of having something else to.
Right. We have no defensive mechanisms. All of the other mammals and everything on the planet have defenses to allow them to live within their environment.
Yeah.
We have nothing.
Environmental conditions have to be
Yeah.
perfect for humans
All we
just
have
to
is
live.
all we have is our brain
Until
to
you
allow
use a
us.
slingshot and take it out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All we have
Shut up! This isn't easy to work.
That was terrible.
That's why we have a tripod. So our sister
We're
didn't
not
find
even
out.
having
Figured it
a
out.
debate.
Well, I didn't know it was connected to a cord.
Yeah, all we have is our ability to create the things to make the defenses that animals have naturally.
Well, the
That's why
slingshot's-
creativity
the
is more
slingshot's gonna
important
be
than
very fun.
athleticism. Athleticism would not be created if it weren't for the human mind's ability to come up with the concept to begin with. Therefore, creativity is more important. Done. I leave you all.
Well, what's the definition of creativity?
That's not the point I'm trying to make. Creativity, the ability to come up with something unique and original.
They do it on hockey every minute of the play of the game.
Hockey would not be invented if it weren't for the human mind's capability to
You
come
gotta-
up with
you
that
gotta get
concept
this.
of a team versus
This is the
another
best
team
shot
with
you
a
can
stick and a puck trying to score goals against the other team to
no,
begin
no.
with.
Well, what mind would it be, though, that would come up with
Hold this. Just hold that. Let the camera go.
If there were no
You
minds.
said the mind's ability. Yes, say
But athletes
Given
come up
mind
with
has
more
the-
creative ways to be athletic and to improve upon themselves. The same way that people that write, draw, paint, act are always improving upon their
That's true.
talent. It's the same way with athletes.
I do not have a big head.
And some of them,
Mom does.
and some of
Big
them,
hair.
some of them
There's a
are more
class in
creative
their
than
head.
others, and they're the ones that others model themselves after.
Oh, such a tired
Like
pussy.
Pat Benatar.
Dad! We have a camera!
I don't know any athletes.
Well, I was
so-
thinking in terms of athletes like Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Of course, he did tell us we could
Um,
film porn and just
and,
turn that in as our multimedia project. Like, he was like, that's
Bobby
fine.
Hall. Bobby Hall.
Okay.
For this
You know,
project, he was like, you can film, you
Gordie
can
Howe.
film people having sex. I really don't
You know,
care.
Babe Ruth.
You can film
Um,
whatever.
You know, all of the big
people
guys
at least.
that they
He
recognize
was like,
through
but
like
make
the
sure the
Hall of
other
Fame
person knows you're filming them.
and all of that kind of stuff, or that people talk about for years after they stop playing. Those are the ones that they were so talented and so creative and came up with their own
Oh,
moves
good for you.
that are now
Good for
taught
you.
to other people that are coming up and learning the game now.
So almost like Michael Jackson, and I mean in terms of
Yes.
creativity, somebody like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Madonna,
Beethoven, Mozart.
Beethoven, yep, Mozart.
You know.
That's very, yep.
And just like
Kiss
with
what?
the painters,
Kiss
with
it.
Picasso
Yeah,
and
Da Vinci.
Degas, and
Thing away from me.
there's always the one. There's a lot of talented people, but then there's the ones that are just absolutely brilliant in their field,
Yep.
regardless of what it is. That they're the people that are going to be remembered for. Centuries.
And how you're remembered is entirely based, getting back to society, it's entirely based upon society's acceptance of what you've done and appreciation for what you've done.
Because-
it's not even necessarily on the merit and ability of what you've done and what people in your field perceive you've done. It's got to go beyond that.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty
Well,
of
look
artists
at what they
that are
did
really
to
really
Socrates
good.
and to Aristotle and all of them when they came up with the things that have been proven now over and over again, but they came up with them when none of
They were
this.
ridiculed severely.
Oh yeah, and
That's true.
they were told that they were evil and they were heretics because they went against what was said in the Bible, which is whatever.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, it was witchcraft
Oh yeah.
and magic instead of science.
Guess what? Isn't Albert Einstein one of the people that thought of things that people were like, no, you're crazy?
No, he
I mean,
he
there's,
was around in the last century.
Who?
Einstein.
Oh yeah, Einstein didn't die
No.
until in the 60s.
There were some things that he came up with, which is normal for extremely intelligent people. They are generally quite eccentric.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
Yeah, because they
The
have no other
idea.
outlet.
Well, not only that, but your brain doesn't shut up. When you're able to do things beyond what a typical worker at McDonald's can think about, your brain, their brain shuts off.
Well, it's up there. It's up there with the truth about anything. It has to do with how famous you are and how much money you make based on things that you invent. When Einstein was in school, he got kicked out of school multiple times because he didn't agree with how the teacher was teaching. So they flunked him out of school, kicked him out, he was expelled, all of this. And he was thought of as a very strange, very weird child. Then when he got older and he started being able to prove what he had been saying and doing and repeating it over and over again, all of these different things and proving his theories, then all of a sudden he was smart. Then it wasn't, okay, now because we believe you, now you're not weird anymore, now you're eccentric. Because we know you're not stupid,
Yeah.
and we don't want you to get ticked off at us because you're extremely intelligent and could come up with ways to, hurt us or whatever. So now you become eccentric. And the same thing happens when you make money. If you're poor and you gather up a bunch of crap around you and everything, you're a hoarder and you're a bum and a slob and all this. But if you do that and you have millions of dollars, like Howard Hughes, you're just eccentric and you like your privacy. But Howard Hughes was a weird ass man. He needed looking after.